I sacrificed everything for my sister. Our parents died when I was just 19. She was only 6 from that day forward. I became her brother, her father, her mother, everything. I gave up college, skipped job promotions, and worked double shifts just so she could have school books, warm meals, and one safe, happy childhood. I never once complained. I never missed a school play. I even walked her to class every first day of school until she graduated college. So, when her wedding day finally arrived, I was emotional. I'd done it, I raised her alone, and now I was giving her away with a heart full of pride. But then, during the reception, it happened. Her new father-in-law stood up for a toast. I expected kind words. Maybe even a thank you for raising such an amazing young woman instead. He laughed and said into the mic, "I'm just glad she finally married into a real family, one with actual parents and a real man to guide her. Not some dropout brother playing daddy." The room went silent. I froze. "Before we continue, please, write in the comments which country you're watching this video from. Enjoy the story." Laughter rippled through the room. Forced, awkward, confused. I felt my ears burn, my heart pounding in my chest. The words "dropout brother playing daddy" echoed like a punch to the gut. I looked at my sister. Her smile had vanished. Her eyes were wide with disbelief, her hands trembling as she clutched her bouquet. She didn't laugh. She didn't say anything. Her new husband, Mark, shifted uncomfortably beside her, but said nothing. Her new in-laws smirked, whispering to each other, clearly enjoying the moment. And me? I stood there, hands in my pockets, trying to decide what stung more, the insult or the silence of the one person I thought would always defend me. But I didn't react, not then. Instead, I gave a small, polite nod to the father-in-law, picked up my drink, and quietly walked outside. Not to cry, not to sulk, but to breathe, to remember everything I had sacrificed, everything I had done to give my sister the life she now lived. And in that moment, humiliated, dismissed, I made a silent vow. They will never forget who I am, because I wasn't just a dropout brother. I was the man who raised a queen. And they had just made a very big mistake. I stayed outside for a while, staring up at the sky as laughter and music drifted from the hall. Then I heard the door creak. My sister stepped out. Her wedding dress shimmered in the fading light, but her face looked torn, caught between two worlds. I'm sorry," she whispered. I didn't say anything. She continued, "I didn't know he was going to say that." I should have spoken up, but everyone was watching. Andy finally turned to her. "And you stayed quiet." Her lip trembled for a second. It felt like our entire childhood flashed between us: late-night homework sessions, scraped knees, empty fridges, and promises whispered in the dark that we'd always have each other's backs. "I wouldn't be here if it weren't for you," she finally said, tears spilling down her cheeks. "You're my real father, my brother, my everything, and I let them humiliate you." That's when I realized she was being pulled into a world that didn't value sacrifice, only status. But blood, real love isn't measured in bank accounts or titles. It's measured in who shows up when no one else does. And while she might have just married into a wealthy family, she was about to find out who really had the power. I walked back into the hall beside my sister, the music still blaring, the crowd still buzzing with champagne and chatter. Her new in-laws laughed at their table, especially the father-in-law, still basking in his little moment of cruelty. He didn't even glance my way. That's when the MC tapped the mic. "Ladies and gentlemen, the bride's brother has a few words." Everyone clapped politely. I hadn't planned to speak, but now I wasn't just speaking, I was showing them. I walked to the mic, calm, steady, and smiled. "Thank you. I just want to say, raising my sister wasn't easy. I worked double shifts, skipped college, cried in silence, but I'd do it again." Some people nodded. I continued, "I was called nobody just now for being a janitor. But funny thing is that janitor also built a commercial cleaning empire." The room froze. I pulled out my phone, tapped once behind me. The giant wedding screen lit up with my name across headlines: Forbes, Business Insider, my net worth. Dead silence. And guess who cleans over 40 of Mr. In-law's buildings every week? My crews, my business. Gasps. The father-in-law's smirk dropped. His wife grabbed his arm. My sister covered her mouth in shock. I stepped down from the mic and walked straight past them. As I walked past the father-in-law's table, I could feel the silence crawling through the crowd like a wave. No music, no laughter, just stunned faces. He stood up. "Wait, you Asir." I didn't mean. I turned to him slowly. "You meant every word, and that's fine. But remember this moment the next time you think someone's worth is tied to their job title. He opened his mouth. But I raised a hand. Oh, and one more thing. I looked at my sister, whose eyes were now glassy with tears. Check your wedding gift, she blinked. What? I nodded toward the giant box sitting at the gift table wrapped in plain brown paper. No. Bow. A waiter wheeled it in front of her. She opened it carefully and gasped. Inside was a deed to a house. Her dream home, paid in full, the entire room. Lost Edie looked at the father-in-law. Yeah, that janitor bought your daughter-in-law a house. Maybe next time. Thank the man who made this day even possible. He sat down slowly, stunned. Humiliated, I hugged. My sister turned around and walked out of that hall with every eye on Em. The nobody had just stolen the entire night, and I didn't need a single apology.